Hello, hello. I am so excited. Today we have Connie Benjamin with us, and she is an international best-selling author of Women on Fire. She is an international speaker, and she's a host of My Fire Within Radio. Hello, Connie Benjamin. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hey, Terry, I am so grateful to be here with you.
Oh my God, so exciting. So today we're going to talk about discovering your hidden story. So I am really curious on why are you even so passionate about helping purpose-driven entrepreneurs discover their hidden story?
Oh, thank you so much for that. So Terry, I am passionate about this because I'm totally obsessed with stories. I believe that stories is how we understand our life, and it's also how we change the world. And I've been interviewing people, especially purpose-driven entrepreneurs, for almost a decade. And what I've learned is there's these amazing purpose-driven entrepreneurs that have given it their all, blood, sweat, and tears. I know you're one of them, so I know you can relate to this. You give it your all, you gain an area of expertise. And when the global pandemic hit, I saw that these incredible experts were competing in the same online space as somebody that just threw up a website, knows something about online marketing, and did not have the same level of expertise. And quite honestly, Terry, that freaked me out because I really believe that it totally did. It kept me up at night, ridiculously so. But I believe that we're at a point in history and in humanity where we need the messages of the experts, who I call the greats. And when I say the greats, I really mean somebody on a great mission to share the work and the expertise that they have. And so that's why I created the influencer interview. That's why I developed this mini session of discovering the hidden story, because I knew that we needed to hear the stories of entrepreneurs to be able to understand them, to relate to them, to build trust faster than anything else. And that's really what I'm on a mission to do, is help purpose-driven entrepreneurs to share their hidden story.
Yeah. Well, I love that because I feel like, with online marketing and, the right branding, anyone can really, get a wide audience, but then really helping that person who's purpose-driven, who has the desire to make the impact, that's really going to make the world a better place. And I'm on that same mission. So I really honor that.
Yeah, awesome.
And then why do you say the hidden story? Like, what is the hidden story?
Oh man, I love talking about the hidden story. Okay. So what I saw was, after talking to many entrepreneurs, I saw that there's many different stories that we tell. And by the way, it's so good to see you, Alexandra. I see you here. I see so many amazing faces. So it's so good to see you, Crystal, Amber. So I love that. So the hidden story is really important, because what I saw was, oftentimes we tell the beginning part of the story. We tell what's called the hero journey. And the hero journey is amazing, but it's kind of that beginnings part of the story. Then often we've got the parts of the story that we know, but we don't really tell anybody. They're kind of the next layer up. And then the next layer beyond that is the story that we don't tell. It's the subconscious story, the one we don't even have access to. And what I found is that when we can tap into that unconscious story, that hidden story, one, our trust in ourselves goes through the roof. It's amazing. Our commitment to our mission goes through the roof, and we understand who we are beyond why we do what we do. We know who we are and why we're the only person in the world to do the work that we do.
I love it. I think, our why is what's really going to drive us. And so discovering the hidden story is like, this is why I'm so passionate about this. This is why it must happen. This is why I need to bring my gifts and my story and, my expertise and all of my knowledge to the world. So I love it. I love it. I love it. So cool. So you're saying it builds trust. So how does the hidden story build trust with your audience?
Well, what happens is, you talked about understanding your why and how important that is. And understanding the why, yes, is absolutely important. But man, this is Amber, you're going to love this. Crystal, you are going to love this. Alex, this is going to blow your mind. So when you understand the who you are as a person, that informs the why. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, because it uncovers who you are fundamentally as a person, so that we know, and all your potential prospects know, you're the only person in the entire world to do this work. And when people hear that story, man, trust goes through the roof. It's absolutely incredible how fast it is to develop trust.
Yeah. No, I can see that because there's so many people in similar industries. There's so many health coaches, so many business coaches, so many spiritual life coaches. And so when people are deciding who they want to, work with, it's like, what's going to make you stand out? What's going to make you different? And so I can see how this hidden story can build that trust and the connection, that know, like, and trust factor is what they say, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It helps people know you faster than anything else, be able to trust you and really be able to like you because they know that hidden story for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wanted to just say hello to some of my mastermind ladies that are with us. So Amber, Crystal, I'm so excited you guys are here. And Alex, thank you for being here. I'm really excited to have Connie Benjamin with us. So awesome. So yeah, so we're just I'm just learning a little bit more about Connie and the importance of the hidden story. And then we'll dive a little bit into an example of how to dig out your hidden story. Maybe if there's time, we can find someone else. But I hope you guys are definitely taking notes and discovering just why it's so important and how we can connect with our audience in finding this hidden story that's deep within us. Awesome. All right. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to do a hidden story session. I mean, if there's anything else you'd love to share about you or your why, I mean, I'm curious. I think it's so important, our story. So I'd love to learn a little bit more about your story. So you have the My Fire Within Radio, you have Women on Fire, the best-selling international book. Yeah, like what kind of sparked your story and why are you on this mission? Just kind of before we dive into my hidden story.
Yeah. Okay. I am so pumped to get into your story, Terry. Like I feel like a kid at Christmas, man. We're going to dive into that story. And as we do that, I want you to know, Amber, Crystal, Alex, as you're listening to these process of the story that I'm uncovering through Terry, just know that you can also be asking yourself those questions as well and begin that process of uncovering your own story. My story is, it's been a journey. I remember one time somebody asked me, Connie, what's your hidden story? And I'm like, there's nobody else that can do this work. So I'm trying, it's very difficult to uncover it for yourself. But what I can piece together is that I began this mission because I wanted to be home with my kids more, and I wanted to feel connected with my family and to not feel so torn between work and between, being home with my family. And that's why I began the entrepreneurial journey, and that's why I'm passionate about it. But I think that I'm really passionate about the hidden story because I thought about it for a moment, and I realized that it's because when I was a teenager, my father died when I was pretty young. So I didn't have a great relationship with him just because I didn't know him very well. And I realized that there's all these stories about who he was and what he stood for and the values that he had that I could never access. It's stories that I couldn't tell. I didn't have access to. And I remember that kind of began the process of this journey. And then I remember I met this amazing purpose-driven entrepreneur that I've interviewed, world-class entrepreneurs for so long. I was talking to this one lady, and she is this amazing lady that has, changed the world, done a lot of work in the personal development world. In fact, she was one of the pioneers in it. And I realized that I had never heard of her before. And Terry, I was mad. I was like, why is it that this is the first time I'm hearing about this amazing lady that trained all the experts? I'm talking Tony Robbins, like Robert Kiyosaki, all of the people that are leading the personal development world. She's the one that started all of this. And I really, truly got mad. I was like, why am I just hearing about this lady? And I started to see a pattern that there were these amazing purpose-driven entrepreneurs that gave it their all. And yet if their story wasn't out there, I wouldn't know them. And many other people wouldn't know them. And that's actually what started all this. It was a thought that came to my mind over and over, and it was the greats need to be heard. And I say that because that's really what I see that to be, as people on a great mission need to be heard. And that's why I created the influencer interview. That's why I do this work. And that's why I'm passionate about it.
I love it. Well, thanks for sharing. Yeah, no, I think it's so important because it's not the person that has the best marketing skills that's seen. You want to make sure it's the person with the heart and the impact and really the expertise behind their mission to come forward and share that. So yeah, thank you for the work. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, you ready to dive into your story, lady?
I'm ready. Yes, let's go.
Okay, so I'm so excited that you're here because you're going to be able to do this in real time with Terry. This is something that is really an uncovering process. And as we go through these questions, I encourage you, Crystal, Amber, Alex, to really pay attention to your own answers to these questions. Now, I would love to do this process with you later. That's a gift that I have just for Terry and her community. However, you can be learning right now, be thinking in your own mind about how would you answer that question? What would you say? So Terry, just to give you a quick overview, I'm going to dive into a couple of questions. There's going to be times where I'm going to need to stop you. I'm going to need to interrupt, ask deeper questions, because we really truly need to get to the hidden story. So I know that this is your amazing community. So I want to make sure that you're comfortable with that, with me asking deeper questions.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I know you're like so amazing. You're an open book. Okay, so you're ready to dive in?
I'm ready.
Okay, so one thing I want you to be aware of is when you are answering your question, there will be times where I'm going to be taking notes. So I'm going to mute myself so that you don't hear me clicking in the background, but that's what I'm doing. That's how my brain processes. So let's begin. One of the things that I want you to be aware of is this process only works with purpose-driven entrepreneurs, to the point that I've actually had some people sneak into my calendar who were not purpose-driven entrepreneurs. It does not work with them. And so I'm excited that you are a purpose-driven entrepreneur, because I know this is going to be amazing for you and your story. Okay. So my first question is, tell me in a couple sentences, Terry, what has the divine put you here to do in this world through your work?
Yeah, so I would say the divine put me here to just show what's possible, and really I feel like I'm here to share the good news of God, and to share that, we are created in love and joy and peace, and that's how we are meant to live. And also that we have the power to create, and we can create our world and our life, any way that we want, any way that brings joy to our heart and then gives light to the world. I really feel like we're here to empower others and to light other people up, and then really ultimately be illuminated and enlightened and back, in that oneness of God.
Oh my gosh, so amazing. Okay, so tell me in a couple sentences, how do you do the work that you do? So when you're working with these amazing women that I see today, Crystal, Amber, Alex, all the incredible people in this conversation, how do you do the work that you do?
Yeah, so really what I do is I help people to connect with their spirit and their soul within them, so they can really, harness what it is that really lights them up. And then also understanding our mind and the universal laws of the world, so we can create success habits, so we can rewire our brain for success. And then to eliminate any limiting beliefs that we've had, any programs that we were growing up with that didn't serve us. And so eliminating any limiting beliefs, we can fully step confidently into our power and bring our God-given gifts to the world. I feel everyone has their own unique purpose that they're here to do. And so it's really big on mindset and connecting to spirit, and then also having some tools and strategies. So I work with lady entrepreneurs. So a lot of it's the mindset and the connection and the alignment, because I feel like once you're in alignment, then you can, kind of let yourself be guided and follow that instinct, and let, your gifts flow, let the words flow through into you, that energy that's just within us. We can like raise our vibration and really just become our very best self. And that's going to just let us, as we're becoming our best self, that's going to just help us do what we're meant to do here on the world. So it's, a lot of mindset, connection, and then also this tools and strategies, and how you can harness your gifts and share it with the world as an entrepreneur.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it so much. Okay. So how is what you do differently than what other coaches do? How is it different, Terry?
Yeah, well, I've joined a lot of different programs, and one of the things that I do is I believe so much in my clients and the people that I work with. And so, yeah, the belief, I feel like I take on the belief for them a lot of times in the beginning. It's like they don't have that belief in themselves, but then, I believe in them so much that it kind of amps up their belief. And I'm so committed to their success that I think they feel it. Like I just have this energy about me where I just bring the light. I bring all of my love, all of my energy, everything I have wholeheartedly. And I feel like the people in my community really feel that. And so they're picking up that energy, and they're instilling that belief in themselves. And so, I just try to be like a role model of what's possible. And I think that is, it's like walking the walk. So that's kind of what's different about me is I really hold your hand, and and just give as much as I can to help my community.
That is amazing. Okay, tell me, why did you start to do this work? Why did you decide to do it?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I was bullied. It was like a Cinderella story. So I had these two stepsisters, and I feel like everyone's doing the best they can with what they know, right? Like all the personal development stuff I've learned now. But yeah, at the time, my mom was in rehab. My dad was kind of a workaholic, trying to give us the best life, which she was never there. But so I had these stepsisters and a stepmom, yeah, two stepsisters and stepmoms. So it was really like a Cinderella story. And I was so nice. I was so excited to get sisters as an only child at the time. So I was, yeah, really excited. And then, so I was just super nice to them. And then I feel like they took it for granted. And then I started, doing chores. And then if I didn't start doing like everyone's chores, and I get blackmailed. And then there was a time when I went to my dad and I was saying like, I need like some help. This is what's happening. And he's like, I worked, I had a long day, like go talk to your stepmom, and she didn't care. Like she was cheating on him. And then my stepsisters, they were rude. So it was just a really like, so at the time I was just being bullied. And then I was thinking, man, I must be such a problem to everybody, because why would I get bullied like this if I wasn't like somehow, I don't know, maybe a bad person, or like there was something wrong with me. So yeah, I was bullied. And then I actually had this plan. So I was going to the bathroom, and my dad was in his room with the door cracked, but I had seen from the corner of my eye that he had a gun, and he like closed his door. And then when he was doing that, I had this idea, and I was like 8 years old, maybe like 8 or 9, like I think I was 8 years old. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like that could be a way I could end all of this. That could be a way that I could not have to be here, to be such a problem to everyone, and the bullying. And then it was a really low point. And I told my friend at the time, I had like one friend, and then she had told her dad. And so right after that, like I ended up going to therapy, and the therapist was nice. Like she listened, and we played games. And but I still had really low self-esteem and low self-worth. And then from there, that just showed in like the jobs. I just like the low paying jobs, just happy with anything, relationships, just happy that somebody loved me. So I wasn't, and I really had no spiritual foundation at that time. I just kind of thought we were like, born and die. I had no idea what the world was about. So yeah, then I found this, I think I'm going to tell me about it if you kind of get some sense of this. It's a long story.
This is amazing. It's amazing. Thank you for sharing this story. Yes, I'm absolutely listening. I'm here with you.
Okay, so yeah, it's all gonna tie itself together. I hope you can help me tie it together. So I was bullied, and I had a Cinderella story. I had really low self-esteem, low self-worth, and then so now I'm on this mission to really like help other people. But I did have, so my mom got out of rehab. She got like, for the most part, like clean and sober, and so yeah, I had her foundation. That was nice. And then I had this boyfriend in high school who just like totally fell for me. He was like sweet. I mean, like a bad boy in all the ways, and then he ended up getting murdered. And with that, then I got this whole spiritual foundation, because I was, yeah, it's like your first love. You're like, they open you up to what's possible. And then for me feeling so down, he like embraced all the qualities I didn't like about myself. Like I was like, oh, I have big feet, and he's like, I love your feet, and like all the things. And so it's just like so sweet. And so just opened my eyes to like, like wow, like somebody that's not like in my immediate family that I thought had to love me, but of course, your family doesn't have to love you. But yeah, so someone outside that just cared about me so much unconditionally. And yeah, then he got murdered. And so I was so like down after that. Like I was just like, I remember like when I got the call actually at 3 a.m. from his aunt. She had called me, and I got a voicemail. My phone was off. And so I got a voicemail, and I checked in the morning, but I couldn't hear, just like muddly. So I went to Santa Cruz and saw my uncle, and I called her back, and I was like, what was the message? I couldn't hear. And she's like, oh, well, Mel got shot. And I was like, oh my God, is he okay? I'm gonna come to the hospital right now. She's like, no, he's dead. And so I just was screaming and crying, like rolling on the ground, like just a mess. And then it was a couple weeks later, I was like, I need some kind of comfort. Like I know, like I didn't believe in God at the time, or I didn't know there's anything else out there, but I was like, I just wish you could like hug me. And so at that point, I felt the like warmest embrace of a hug. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that felt so real, but it was like nothing I could see. So that kind of built my spiritual foundation. And I was like, there's something bigger in this world, and there's something else out there. So from that point, I was like on a quest for truth. And then I found the movie The Secret like a couple of years later. And then I ended up hiring like Bob Proctor and Lisa Nichols. And I was like, what is the secret? How do we like, like live better, because Bob Proctor and Lisa Nichols have their stories, right? And so yeah, them being and able to overcome all of what they've overcome, I was like, wow, like I want to do that, and I want to be a role model. I have like my cousins that look up to me, my nieces and nephews that look up to me. And so I really want to empower other people that have been through trauma to show them like what's possible. That's like the biggest part of my story.
You are amazing. Oh my gosh. I am so grateful that you shared that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. You are absolutely incredible. Terry, oh my goodness. I want to ask you, as you're sharing your story, there's so many aspects of your story that's incredible. And I think about the values that you have. I mean, you've been through so much, and yet you persevered. You care about people. You want to uplift people. You want to strengthen them. You want them to help to be connected to the spirit. You want them to be connected to their purpose, to the higher power, all of their potential as well. Of all of those things, of all the values that you could possibly have in this life, what would be the value that is most important to you?
I think the biggest value is really like connecting to God, because I think when you realize that, like that was like the biggest game changer for me. And I learned that through A Course in Miracles. Was like, I mean, so I've been like slowly developing that connection. So starting with my ex-boyfriend, his spirit that I felt, and then yeah, just finding the secret and learning how we are spiritual beings living in this, like seemingly like, material world, even though nothing's really like, nothing's real. It's all like energy moving super fast. But yeah, like learning. So once you know that connection to and who you are at your core, that true self, where like you are pure presence, you are pure love, pure peace, pure joy. And then also I had an experience of that, which I guess they call it like a revelation. But this was a time when like I had a boyfriend for 6 years. I thought we were gonna get married and everything. And it was like such perfect timing. Like I believe like trust would settle every problem. Now I just believe so much so that like we're guided and connected and everything's always happening for our good. And so right before like a huge breakup, like we had like this big breakup, I was just kind of in a meditation and doing, A Course in Miracles, like morning meditation that we do. And I just felt this like all consuming, like expanding love and presence and just awareness. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. Just it was like you lose track of there was like no time, no space, no body. It was just like the most beautiful, blissful experience that like you could ever just like be. And I don't know how long it even lasted for. It could have been like a minute, could have been like an hour. Like it was just like the most perfect like feeling and expression of love. And so I just want like people to connect to that and know that that's our true presence, and there's really nothing to worry about. Like I used to always worry about the past or the future, but it's like when you can just come to the now moment, you realize that you have everything you need within you. All the love you were searching for is within you. Like the peace that you want is you can choose it at this moment. So I think it's like when you're connected, that's like the biggest message I want to get out. So I mean, I love like abundant mindset and like teaching people how to achieve their goals and knowing that anything's possible. But because we have that connection to source, and because we are creators made in the image of God.
So powerful. Terry, I want to thank you for that. I want to go to story time with Terry. Take Crystal and Amber and Alex, take us all to story time with Terry. And the story that I'm looking for is I want you to take us to a moment in your childhood. It's usually between the ages of 7 to 13, when either, because you talk about connection to God and how important that is, I want you to take us to a moment in time when either you had that connection, or you wanted that connection, or you helped someone else to kind of see who they really are or to feel better. So what I'm looking for is, because when you describe that value, what I hear you saying is really you value being connected to God and helping others to be connected to their true potential. And so I'm wanting you to share with me a story between the ages of 7 to 13, when either you wanted that connection, you had that connection, or you helped somebody else to see who they really are.
Yeah, I'm really trying to think here. When there was a time specifically, nothing's like really standing out to me, but I know that one of the times I felt the most alone was like we had this like playroom, me and my stepsisters, and like they were like, you have to clean it, and I had no one else around me at the time, and so yeah, and then so then it'd be like flies and maggots. It was like the most disgusting thing you could ever think of. And so then I was like there by myself, like having to like clean up all this like nasty stuff. And like there's no one there to help me. So that was like a moment where I felt totally alone and like, why like why am I alive? Like this is like horrible. And then so that was a bad moment. And then like my stepmom's brother actually moved in like a couple months later. And then he had my back so much. He was so he saw how they treated me and he was like, Terry, like, we're gonna sit on the couch. Like, do you want something to drink? And we're gonna watch them clean the whole house. And so for me, I was like, oh my God, like, thank you. So I was like, so like to have to have someone like that, like there for me, I was like, it just felt like I was like, I want to be that for somebody else who like has nobody look, there for them. And then to like I got you, I see you, like I'm here for you. And so like that's like what I really want to like be for somebody else that's like in, that like aloneness and that whole thing.
You are amazing. You are absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh. Guys, did you feel it? Crystal, Amber, Alex, did you feel that goosebump moment? That's the hidden story. We got it, Terry. We got it. Okay. Can I share with you who I see you to be based on what I'm hearing you say so far?
Yes.
First, and I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for your courage. I'm wildly aware that you didn't have to share that story, but that story is pivotal to who you are. Terry, who I see you to be is you are this amazing person that has been through a lot in your life. You've had a mom that struggled in her own addictions and wasn't able to be there for you for part of her life, part of your life. You had a dad that was so busy providing for you and trying to provide for the family that he couldn't be there for you in the way that you needed him to. You had a stepmom and stepsisters that did not treat you kindly. And knowing all of the things that they had their own reasons and their own things and all of those things. And yet your experience was that you needed to do way more than you should have had to do as a kid. You understand what it's like to feel alone. You understand what it's like to be longing for grown-ups or someone or anyone to have your back and them not to be there for you. You know what it's like to be a sweet kid, to be in a room cleaning up garbage and maggots and have nobody there to help you. You know what that despair and aloneness feels like. You know what it's like to lose someone. You know what it's like to have love and have it gone in a moment through the loss of your boyfriend, who for the first time in your life, you felt that unconditional love. You know the pain of that. You also want to know what it's like to be embraced by something divine, to have the spirit of something bigger to guide you, to protect you, to comfort you, to help you to remember who you really are, despite all of the things that you've been through. And especially, there's a moment in your life when you talk about is her stepmom's brother. I was like, what's his name? What's his name? James?
Yeah.
Okay. Where you know what it feels like to have somebody there with you, holding your hand, protecting you, helping you to be who you are because they've got your back. They see you. I've got you. I see you. I'm here for you. And you are on a mission to be there for the women that you support. You're on a mission to help them to know who they really are, to step into their full potential, to step into their purpose, to be connected with the divine in such a way that nobody was there for you, but you're there for them because you see them and you love them and you don't leave their side because you understand what it's like to have somebody be there no matter what. And that's who you are for the incredible women that you support. Did I understand you right?
Yeah, that was spot on. That was really great.
What's it like to have gone through this process with me?
Well, I think you asked like really great questions that like really make you dig down. And so yeah, for me it just like solidifies like why I'm so passionate about this and why I really do want to like, that be that role model, be that example and show what's possible and then also help people that have been, a similar situation. So yeah, it just kind of, yeah, gives me like more fire. Like you're saying, like my fire within, it definitely like lights that fire for you, where it's like, yeah, like who can I go help, and like who needs me, and like how can I, serve on a bigger scale and to more people and get this message out there. So yeah, it was really a really awesome experience, and I appreciate your time so much.
Thank you so much. I love that. You get lit up, right? You're like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm on this mission. Tell me, what's your level of trust? How much has your trust in yourself gone up?
It's gone up a lot more because I feel like, yeah, there's like a bigger reason than just to like have a business and make money and be financially free. It's really, yeah, it's like so much more than myself and bigger than myself, that it's like not just, yeah, me doing it for me, but me doing it for the people that need me out there.
Awesome. And how do you think your level of trust will go up with the amazing people that you can help, those people you're fired up to help? How do you think their trust goes up when they hear your story?
I think it'll definitely go up more because I don't like to share those kind of like stories because, like, I have like my past paradigms, and my dad's like, yeah, like get it together, fix your hair, like you can't walk out the door like that. So I always felt like I had to have it together before I could like walk out of the door or like show myself or be presented. So I don't think I've ever like let my guard down like so much like that. So it's like, because like, yeah, like it's not a very like, you know, like a great image when you think of like, yeah, me having like clean up like maggots after these like girls that are like horrible, and like, to let people treat me like that. And then, but now it's like I'm this, empowered woman that can like, be vulnerable, but it's always been really hard for me. So, yeah, it feels good for me, for myself, to let that guard down. And I think the trust is, I mean, just in myself, it goes up. And then I think the people working with me are going to realize like, yeah, you're not just this like, oh yeah, I grew up in a good neighborhood and, whatever. So it's like, and they're like, yeah, I can, trust you because you've been through it, my struggle. And so, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. If it's all right with you, I'd love to ask Crystal and Amber and Alexandra, I'd love to ask you what your experience has been like hearing Terry tell her story. Terry, are you all right if we just like open it up and ask?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Yeah.
Crystal, Amber, Alex, I'd love to hear from you. What was it like for you to hear Terry's story? Just
So
jump in.
I'll go ahead and share. Um, for me, what it was like, I think it was very powerful because she's my coach. And, sometimes you can definitely get lost in the, she's here now, this is who she is. And it's just like you said, I haven't heard of her, and to hear that, it's very powerful. It's very powerful. It's something that I admire, and at the same time, it allows me to step into that space, knowing that someone else can understand. We might not have the same life story, but she definitely understands what emptiness and hurt and pain feels like. So, thank you.
That is amazing. Amber, thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, one more question, sister. Amber, I want to ask you what your level, were there things that you didn't know about Terry? And if that's true, if there's things you didn't know, has your level of trust gone up with her, and why?
I didn't know nothing of that. I did not know anything of that. Does my trust level go up? I would say yes, but I wouldn't call it trust. I would definitely say my love and acceptance and compassion for her is much bigger. And the reason that for me I say not the trust is because trust, I believe it comes within yourself. How much you trust yourself, you are allowed to trust others. And I trust her, but now there's just this part of her that it's like, welcome, sister, and so it's definitely an increased love, a bigger magnitude of love and appreciation and compassion that I have towards her.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, Crystal, Alex, do you want to share something? What was it like to hear her story? And yeah, what was it like for you?
For me, it's just really empowering, and I felt it so much, just like when you said, Terry, like feeling like nobody had your back and just like, you know, why is this happening to me? And it just sounded so familiar. And your vulnerability is just so powerful. I think just overall, the way you speak, the way you present yourself, and the way you're here for all the women in the mastermind, and I'm pretty sure beyond, it just speaks volumes for you. But you opening up like that is just, you know, doesn't make me trust you more, but I trust you already. Just you being who you are. Um, it just makes me feel that much more connected to you, and I think it's so beautiful, and I feel so blessed to be sitting here and hear your story.
Thank you so much for that, Crystal. So your trust was already sky high, and now that connection, you're just like, I'm even more connected. I love it. Okay, Alex.
Hi.
Hey.
So I was listening, as I was listening to you, Terry, answer. I think my video was off, but I think I was like this, like, you know, and you're telling your story was enthralling for sure. You know, like I made me lean in and want to hear. And I know you were kind of like apologizing for keeping on going on, but I was like, no, this is good stuff. Like keep going, keep telling your story. And so I would definitely, I hadn't heard a lot of that. I don't know if I had heard any of those stories actually. And so I would say your vulnerability is inspiring, from the perspective of like you being open and sharing yourself so vulnerably. I think, I mean, I already trust you, but I think in general opens up more trust in general, because that authenticity, you being so genuine and open and vulnerable, is generally being more trustworthy, like trusting in yourself, even like I'm okay to share this stuff, right? I'm like you, where like a lot of the things are like, I don't need to say those things, like it's not necessary. But when I do, I know that people tell me that they trust me, or like it's disarming, or like it's you know, so I feel like that we feel more connected to you for sure.
Yeah. Oh, thank
I
you.
love that. Terry, thank you for that, Alex. You're so awesome. It's so good to see you. So Terry, what's it like to hear as others reflect on hearing your hidden story? What's it like for you?
Well, it's nice to hear I'm still like accepted and maybe more accepted by sharing the story, because I felt like I hid it because I didn't think it was like okay for that, like, you know, for like me to share that, like, you know, darker side of me that's not like, you know, picture perfect or whatever. So it's nice to hear that like you get more acceptance like by being yourself, which is yeah, really a great thought. It's like the more you be yourself, the more accepting the right people are, you know, to, you know, be around you and want to be around you. So I really like hearing that. Thank you all so much for your feedback.
That is so awesome. Well, I am so grateful for you. I am so grateful to be able to do this with you and to be here with you. And I want you to know that the world needs your story. That's an incredible story. It's such a good story. The world needs your story. And all of you listening right now, Alex, Amber, Crystal, everyone watching, the world needs your story too. So Terry, thank you so much for having the courage today to share your hidden story.
Well, thank you for bringing this out and bringing this, you know, this deep work into the world. And I know that you do have a gift, and I want to just like let everyone know, because if you thought this was powerful, then Connie wants to share something with you as well.
Absolutely. Guys, I'm obsessed with stories. That is the most amazing thing, hearing Terry's story, right? I'm obsessed with stories. So if you would like to discover your own hidden story, I'll put a link in Calendly. You can actually just book a time in my calendar and uncover your own hidden story. And I'd love to do that with you. So that's my gift to you guys. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and thank you, Alex, Amber, Crystal, for being here and showing up. And I hope you got some good golden nuggets out of it, and that you do take advantage of Connie's offer. Thank you, Connie. All right, well, I hope everyone has a wonderful night, and definitely stay connected to us. Connie is, where can people find you if they want to, I mean, definitely, yeah, book your session, but if they want to follow you online, where can they find you?
Yeah, so you can reach out to me. You can email me at connie@myfirewithin.com. I'm all the places that social media hangs out. Me too. So in Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the things. So thank you so much.
Awesome. All right. Well, everyone have a great night, and we'll be in touch soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank
Have
you,
a great night,
ladies.
ladies.